And this year, giving is taking on a whole new meaning with the holiday season here, and price is still a bit on the high side. Many Americans are rethinking the way they spend, save, and celebrate. Well, a brand new Unwrapped survey from Chime reveals how people are prioritizing this year, what they're buying, and how they're budgeting. Also, which gifts are topping wish lists in every region of the country. Patrice Washington is a number one best-selling author, award-winning podcaster, and personal finance expert. We welcome her this morning. Good morning, Patrice.
Good morning, Ken.
Nice to have you on, and happy holidays. And according to Chime's new Unwrapped survey, what does the average holiday gifting budget look like this year?
Well, Ken, this year, Americans are really prioritizing practicality and financial well being. So, this may not surprise you at all, Ken, but people are saying, I want the cash. Average Americans are saying they'll spend about $1,120 on their holiday budget, but it's not about just giving the gifts. People want the cash. Show me the money. 65% of Gen Zers definitely want the money. They're saying, look, I need help. I want to pay for my rent. 51% want to pay for rent. 58% say, hey, help me out with utilities. And 44% say, I just need help getting out of credit card debt. So if you're one of those people who said, oh, it's not thoughtful to give cash back in the day, those days are over. Now people actually need the money.
Yeah, my 87-year-old mother just had this conversation with me the other day. She says, I'm going to give all gift cards this year. I'm getting all gift cards. And I thought to myself, I would have said the same thing. Mom, that's not creative. That's not nice. Today, it's like everybody wants that. Especially my Gen Z and whatnot relatives. They're all saying,
Yeah.
yeah, same thing. So that's just some anecdotal evidence, but 100% there. So how are people choosing to divide that budget, though, among family, friends, and coworkers? Years ago, I'm a lot older than you, probably twice your age, but back in the day, you had to give something to everybody at work, and then you had to give something to
Mhm.
everybody at your kid's school. And today, the reality is what it is, right? Budget wise.
Well, yeah, Ken, it is. But, the survey reveals that people are still prioritizing their partners and their children. So, first and foremost, that's where most of that $1,100 budget is going. In the Northeast, people want to spend about $1,200 on gifts. And in the Midwest, people are saying, I'll spend about $1,000. But whether your gifter is, or the person you're gifting, excuse me, is a Gen Zer, a boomer, a millennial, the average person is expecting to receive about $600 in cash. So it's across generations and it's across the regions. People want and need the money in this season. And if it can bring them relief, then that should be what brings you joy, right?
Yeah, it is. I'm with you 100%. Joy. I'm thinking of well, I was going to get on the religious side. I won't. I was going to say I'm thinking of the poor scene in the baby Jesus and how far we've come from there to I'll take a check. But unfortunately, that's I mean, and for those that are wondering where the gift giving comes from, the idea was when the Magi, right, when they came bearing
Mhm.
gifts, and that's where the tradition started. And somebody who was capitalist said, "Hey, we can make money on this." Um, so 2,000 years later. But the question is, though, uh, when I was a kid, you gave checks or you gave cash. Today, everybody's buying gift cards, and we forget the gift card companies are making sometimes 6.95, 7.95, 8.95 activation fees. And when you go to use those gift cards, and you go to a restaurant with $100 gift card, they block off the last 20 bucks for tips and tax and stuff like that. So you really don't always get the full amount. Is the gift card the way to go, or should you just go back to like checks or things like that?
Well, I think giving people the flexibility to use the cash on what they actually desire is really the thing these days. So the survey actually reveals that people really want to go on trips, believe it or not, Ken.
Yeah.
People are saying in Indiana, pay for my trip. 84% of people wanted their trip to be paid for in full. You're also seeing where a lot of Gen Zers are saying, Mom, Dad, Grandma, just pay for a concert. Help me create a memory. I think that's what we're seeing now, that the more meaningful thing is to give people the cash to do what they need to do or provide an experience that they want to have.
Interesting. So maybe like to one of the ticket companies, I won't mention one by name, but you give a gift card for the ticket company, right? So they could buy whatever concert tickets they want or whatever. But so that's a little more creative than just a generic Visa gift card or a MasterCard gift card. You're at least buying them something in the theme, maybe a Priceline gift card or something, so they could do their traveling and pay for it that way. That's a really clever idea. That's a good kind of a compromise. So younger people certainly do approach things differently from older folks, but would you say that based on the information, older folks are now catching on that this is what younger folks want in this era?
Oh, absolutely. But like I said, Ken, even older folks are saying, just give me the cash. It's crossing generations. And I think it just comes down to the time and the season that we're in. And I really just believe that it's important for people to be intentional about what they're giving, but don't just give what you want to give. It is
Uh,
important to give what people desire to receive too. You want to make it about them because that's what the season is about.
gotcha. So you're saying that my hand stitched socks won't make it this year. I'll be the least popular uncle in the household. I always make one this big and one this big anyway. It never quite looks nice. I don't know. People are certainly getting more creative too. So what about the rise of homemade gifts?
Well, definitely. Again, I mean, I think it's about really understanding the personality of the folks that you are gifting and what would feel good. And I think doing whatever feels best for you is what this season is about. But at the end of the day, what the survey really reveals is that we want to be smart about our money. And people usually go into so much debt during this season. 41% of the respondents say, oh, well, I'll do what I need to do for the holiday budget, and then I'll figure it out after, right? After
Gotcha.
January 1st, I'll get back on my budget. And I just want people to know that it's time to bank smarter and really use the essential tools. For, over a decade at Redefining Wealth, I've been saying you don't want to jeopardize your financial health trying to prioritize everyone and spending all your money. We really need to be intentional about using great tools that help us budget and automate our savings and still be thinking about our financial health
Yeah.
well after the holidays.
That is great advice. Best-selling author, award-winning podcaster, personal finance expert, Patrice Washington. Always nice to have you on. Thank you for coming on and happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays to you as well, Ken. And to find out more, hit up chime-holiday.com.
Perfect. Thank you, Patrice. Have a good one.